Once upon a time, there was a very rich merchant, and he was attacked by thieves. Now, he would have lost all of his money and his life if a large dog had not come to his rescue and drove those thieves away. The merchant told the dog how grateful he was and asked what he could offer in reward. I have many, many great treasures, and you may choose whatever you wish. Would you like a fish that can speak 12 different languages?
Oh, wow.
No, said the dog, I would not. Oh, what about a goose that lays golden eggs? Wouldn't you like that?
Yes.
No, said the dog, I would not. Ah, but I bet you would like a mirror in which you could see whatever anyone is thinking, yes?
Oh, yeah.
No, no, said the dog, I would not. Well, what would you choose? Well, said the dog, in your house you have a beautiful daughter. That is a treasure I choose. When the merchant heard this, his heart was stricken, for his daughter was his greatest treasure. But a promise given must be kept. And he told the dog, come to my house tomorrow. The dog arrived at the merchant's house the next day to fetch his daughter. But he did not go in the door. He waited outside. But the merchant's daughter, she did as her father told her. And she left the house, dressed for a journey, and ready to go with the dog. When the dog saw how lovely she was, he wagged his tail and said, jump on my back, and I will take you to my house. So she got on the dog's back, held tightly to his fur, and away they flew, uphill and down dale, until they came to the dog's house. Oh, and it was a very, very fine house. This girl was given anything, everything a young woman could ever desire. They ate meals that were so superbly prepared. They played together. The girl had a golden ball that she would toss, and the dog would fetch it back to her time and time and time again. And sometimes they would just sit in the garden, and the dog would tell her stories that made her laugh. Oh, dog, you are sweet as a honeycomb. But after a month, she began to miss her father, and she began to cry and mope, and she thought, I am being held here prisoner by a great, foul, small-toothed dog. The dog found her crying and asked what was wrong. I miss my father. I miss my father so much. Well, the dog hated to see her so sad, and he told her, I will take you to see your father. If you promise, you will only stay for 3 days, no longer. But first, tell me, what is it you call me? Well, she was still weeping and sad, and she blurted out, a great, foul, small-toothed dog. Well, that wasn't what the dog was hoping to hear. Oh, I won't take you then. Oh, she cried so pitifully that finally the dog promised. Very well, I'll take you to your father, but tell me first, what is it you call me? Sweet as a honeycomb. Jump on my back, and I will take you home. So the girl got on his back, and off he trotted until he came to a hedge, and he stopped before he jumped over the hedge and asked, what is it you call me? Well, the girl thought she was safely on her way, and she answered, a great, foul, small-toothed dog. After she said this, the dog turned right around and galloped back home with the girl on his back. She cried for a week, until the dog promised again to take her home to her father. And so she got on the dog's back, and away they went. As before, he stopped at that hedge, and he asked her, what is it you call me? Sweet as a honeycomb. So the dog jumped over the hedge, and on he went until he came to another hedge, and again stopped and asked, what is it you call me? Now, she was thinking more about her father and her home than the dog, and she answered, "A great foul small-toothed dog." Again, the dog turned and galloped back home. She cried for another week, so loudly and so bitterly that he again promised to take her home to her father. And so one more time she got on the dog's back, and away they went. They got to that hedge, and the dog asked, "What is it you call me?" "Sweet as a honeycomb." And over he jumped, and on they went. For the girl was now absolutely going to think of the most loving things she could say until she got to her father's house. When they got to the merchant's door, the dog stopped, and he asked, "What is it you call me?" She was so excited to be home that in the moment she forgot that she was going to say only the most loving things, and she began, "A great..." The dog turned. She had her hand on the latch, ready to go in the house. And the next word was going to be "foul." But then the dog turned back and looked at her with such sad eyes. And she remembered how good and kind and patient the dog had been with her, and how he made her laugh. "Oh, dog, you are sweeter than honeycomb." Now, she thought, after saying this, he would be content and gallop back home. But instead, he stood up on his hind legs, and with his forelegs he ripped off his smelly fur, and there stood the most handsome young man you've ever seen in the world, with the finest and smallest teeth you've ever seen. Well, of course they were married, and they lived so happily. The girl still threw that golden ball, but it was now more a game of catch than fetch. And they spent many a happy hour just sitting in the garden telling each other stories. If you remember, Leanne told you I have two dogs, Pembroke Welsh Corgis, Toby and Tilly. You know, they say that the Corgis were used to pull fairies' carts, and they rode them into battle. Now, one story says that there were two fairy tribes at war with each other, the Tig and the Julians. It was a fierce battle, and there were losses on both sides. Now, two human children came upon the funeral procession the Tigs were having, and the children were so polite and well-mannered that they were gifted the steeds of the fallen warriors. And they were told, "You can use these little animals to help herd your cattle." And indeed, these animals were perfect for herding the cattle with their short legs and their brave hearts. They were just short enough to dash under the cattle and nip at their heels and avoid their hooves. And you know, they still use these little dogs in many places for herding cattle and sheep. Now, my dogs live at the beach. This is what many times, some of you may follow Toby and Tilly on Facebook and Instagram. They always have to talk about their walks. Thank you.